Okay, guys, make sure you grab the notes from the front table. Feel free to stop the video at any point if you need to go back. You should be filling in as I'm filling in, etc. So, starting at the top, remember that the letter M is used to represent the slope of all of our equations. Today we're going to talk about B, and B is used to represent the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is simply the place where the line crosses the y-axis, which is very, very easy to locate and identify, as you'll see as we go further. So as you look at the graphs below, as the coefficient of x changes or gets greater, the blank of the line, what? So try to fill those in. Hopefully you filled in the slope of the line gets steeper. So the higher the coefficient, the steeper the line. So make sure you're filling that in. So that was stuff we talked about yesterday. The number being multiplied by x then, the coefficient, is the slope. So you don't have to count your slope. If you have the equation, it is simply the number in front of your x. So if we look at our blue line, the slope of the blue line is 5, because 5 is the coefficient of x. The slope of the red line is 2. And the slope of the black line, there's a 1 in front of x, so the slope is 1. The blue line is the steepest. You can tell on your graph, but you can also tell because 5 is the highest number out of 5, 2, and 1. Similar when they're slanted in the negative direction. It's still just the coefficient. So the slope of the blue line is -5. Slope of the red is -2. And slope of the black is -1. So that number in front of x is simply the value of your slope. You would get that same slope value if you counted. So if I was to take this point and count up 2 and over 1, I'm still going to get that coefficient. It's just easier than counting. Okay, so investigate the following lines. The slope stays the same. It's a 1 for all of them. There's a 1 in front of that, a 1 in front of here, etc. So the slope stays the same. But notice that I'm changing what's happening here. I'm adding 9, then I'm adding 4, then I'm subtracting 7. Describe what's happening to your line as you change that value that's being added or subtracted. So you might want to pause the video, think about it for a second, write down something. What are you noticing? Hopefully, you noticed that the number on the outside or at the end dictates how far up or down the line is on your y-axis. Remember, this is your y, this is your x. This one crosses your y-axis at -7. This one, you could write +0, crosses at 0. The red line crosses at 4. And the green line crosses at 9. So those values where the line crosses your y-axis is the number that is attached at the end. It's called your y-intercept, and we use a B to refer to it. So turn to your next page. Using that information from the first two pages, we can write any linear equation, in this format. I don't know. I'm guessing you should probably know it. Look at how many times I wrote that. When I come back tomorrow, I'm going to ask you. You need to know this. That equation can be used for any linear equation. The m, which is in front of your variable, is the slope. Your b, which is attached at the end, plus or minus, is your y-intercept. So if given an equation, you should be able to tell me those two pieces. So let's look at the ones below. We're going to find the slope, and we're going to find the y-intercept of these equations. Number one, if I put the general equation right above it, it's easy to see that m is 4. And remember, we could write that as 4 over 1 if we need to. The b is minus 3, which means it crosses the y-axis 3 below the origin. Make sure you're pausing the tape so you can write that in. Number 2, m 4/7, b 5. If you're finding it very easy, it should be very easy. Question number 3. The m value multiplied by x is -6. B value, +2. Number 4. Careful with this one. Notice that the x piece is in the back, where in all the other ones, the x piece was in the front. So first I'm going to rewrite this so that I'm putting the part that has the x in the front. I'm bringing the sign with it, +2. So make sure you're writing that in your notes. There's a 1 in front of your x on the top. And so really, my equation is this, -1/4 x +2. Now it should be easy to see that this is your m, -1/4, and this is your b, +2. Okay, before I move on to the next page, I would like for you somewhere on this current page to draw a box, label 5 and 6, write these equations, and I am going to check tomorrow that you have the correct m and b for those equations. So if you want to pause it now and solve that so it's ready for tomorrow, then do that. And when you're ready to go to the next page, go ahead and press play. We can also find our m and our b from an equation that's graphed. M, you already should be comfortable doing. Pick your 2 points, count up or down first, 1, 2, and then over to the right, 2. I'm going to leave it as 2 over 2. You could also write 1. The b value. The b value is where the line, the purple line, crosses the black line. Right there. You simply name the y value. It crossed at 1, 2, 3 above your origin, so your b is 3. For tomorrow, see if you can write an equation that's in this format using this M and this B, simply plugging in, and we'll check tomorrow. The slope of question 2, the one in the middle, I'm going to pick this point and this point. I'm going to count up 1 unit. I'm going to go to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a negative 5. So my slope is negative 1/5, which remember you can write like that. Your B value, again, is right here where your line crosses your y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 below your origin. B value is negative 6. See if you can write an equation. Last one. I'm going to pick this dot at the origin and this dot. I have to count up 2 units and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my slope is 2/7. My y-intercept is right there at the origin, so B is 0. Using those values, see if you can fill in an equation. So that's the last page of your packet. You should be going back and pushing play, rewind if you missed anything, filling in anything that you missed. If you feel that you understand the material enough at this point, you are going to file your notes. You are going to shut down your computer and plug it back in and ask the substitute for worksheet 27 and quietly begin working on that. If by some chance you finish that, weekly review is also due, so work on that. See you tomorrow.